Hey everyone, my name is Todd Tanck with SeaCoast Homes, and this is an episode of Tank Talk. I am thrilled to bring you to Walden Pond, where we have the largest project that we've ever done. This is going to be real exciting for us. What we're going to do, this is going to be a huge project. We're also going to bring you bits and pieces, and we're going to do a time lapse for you on this entire project. So if you've never done a new build, or even if you've done a ton of new builds, you're going to get a lot of information. So basically, we've got a large property here on Nancy River in Southport, North Carolina. And like I say, we're going to take you through from step one. We've gotten all our permits in place. We've got the financing in place for the project. So first thing that you do with a project, number one, get yourself a qualified architect or designer to work through your plans. We've got our engineering for this, which was done by a local engineer, Jesse Dickerson, who I've used for many, many years. He's just a top quality engineer. We had survey work done by Saltwater Survey, and they've done a phenomenal job out here. We've submitted with the county for all of our development and permits, and we got our permits back. It was a little bit of a process, but I'd rather be thorough and get it done properly. So right now, what we've done is we've got our water meter in here. So we're gonna have water and also irrigation. There's gonna be a 1-inch line going to this house because it's gonna be a pretty large house. Second thing that we did was we got our temporary power set up, or our T-pole, and we've got a green sticker on it. So I'm thrilled to find out that we've passed. So we actually have power here for the trades to work. So what we've done, we've got, in 2 days, we've been able to complete all the preliminary work for our foundation. So this is going to be a conventional foundation. I know that there's a lot of pilings that take place on Oak Island, Southport area, but this one we're not in a flood zone, so we don't have to do it. So what I want to do is introduce you to the property. It's a big, beautiful piece of property, about 1.25 acres, and it's right on the Nancy River. There's also a 160-foot of riparian, which is area that we can't build on, where we're going to be putting in a dock and a boathouse. It's about 620 feet. So this is a very large piece of property by 100 feet wide. We've been very lucky. We've got a fantastic mason that we've been dealing with for many years, Veracruz Concrete, and he and his guys came out here yesterday and they're ready. So we've got our inspection called in for tomorrow, and hopefully we're going to be pouring some footings, and we'll be able to show you some of that pour as well. This is the garage area, and there's a couple of things going on. So number one, we've got all of our rebar in the bottom. And there's 2 different ways that you can do it based on the engineering. You can go 2 number 5 rebar or 3 number 4 rebar, and that just has to do with the thickness. Either one of them is acceptable. The rebar sits on top of these. Now these are called chairs, and you see you've got these little grooves in it. Well, that's for the rebar to sit in, and then they tie that rebar directly to the chairs, so when they pour the concrete, it gets underneath and all the way around all of that rebar to form a really nice, strong foundation for this house. Down here in the footing, you can see we've got our 2 rows of number 5 rebar. You can see the chairs, and they're spaced about every 2 feet. These upright stakes are actually being held together, all of this, by tie wire. Now, all these cross pieces that go across here, these are called transverse, and that's going to add a whole lot more strength to the footing. So we've got our uprights, we've got our threaded rod, we've got our 2 number 5 rebar, and we've got all of our transverse going through here. So these threaded rods are going to come up through the footing and through the block work, and this is what we're going to use to fasten the house down. The footing is designed specifically by the engineer for the project that we're doing, so that we've got the strength that we need, the width that we need to be able to support the weight loads up above. Now this is just perimeter, but we do have some interior beams as well, because there's going to be some pretty heavy load points that are located throughout the center of the house. So this is really, really critical that your engineer looks at this. This is not a DIY thing. This is something that really needs to be done by a certified, licensed engineer, because there's so much riding on this. So if you look all the way around the perimeter here, we've got 2x4s with stakes all the way around. Now what they do is they use that as a guide to set up their strings, and the strings basically signify where the walls are going to be located. They're going to keep this up through the process here, because they're going to need to make reference to this, because there are interior bearing walls that have to be noted and poured. So it's not just pouring around the perimeter of it, but for instance in the garage here, there's actually 2 load point walls that have to be formed in, and we've got to make sure that they stay straight and true so that we don't have crooked walls or things that are out of square. So this grid, it takes a long time to do, and it's a tedious process, but it's something that's really, really important to make sure that our foundation dimensions are correct, that the locations of the walls are correct, and they also use this as a guide for setting rebar and they're uprights so that we've got something that we can tie our walls into properly. So what we don't want is we don't want uprights, threaded rod outside of the footing, because it's a whole lot harder to try and get them back in the footing. It requires epoxy and drilling, and it's just not the right way to do it. So as with everything, taking your time right from the get-go is super important, and it makes a lot of sense to take your time and get it right the first time, because we will be using this for all of the foundation work that's going to be happening here. Right now we're going to be standing in what's going to be the driveway or the area out in front of the garage. We've got a 4-bay garage here, a twin bay, and 2 single bays. One of them is actually going to be used for a workshop, so we're going to actually put in a floor outlet for a table saw to be right in the middle of the room. It's going to be really, really interesting. One of the things that we've got that's a little different than the front of the garage is that if you look in here, we have threaded rod, and we also have a second layer of rod. The reason for that is the threaded rod is going to be actually in the brick, not in the block, because the foundation is flush with the framing of the wall. So it's going to be a little bit different. On the front of the garage, we actually have a brick facade that's going to go up the face of the wall, but for the majority of the rest of the house, the foundation is flush with the framing of the wall. So we actually have to have 2 different layers of rebar. One on the inside for the block, and that one's not threaded. Then we have another one on the outside that goes through the brick, which is threaded, and that's what's going to be holding our wall down. There are a number of locations where that threaded rod is actually going to go up from the foundation all the way up through to the top of the wall plates. So there's an awful lot that goes into this, and we can talk a little bit more about the engineering as we get a little bit further down the road. So really what we've got is we've got garage, we've got house, there will be a second floor over this, and also a second floor with offices located over the top of the garage. In the back of the property, you can kind of get a feel for what the view is, but that's the Nancy River out behind us, and we've got all this marshland down there, and the property actually slopes down quite a bit. So there's going to be a retaining wall put in, 2 tiers, and that's going to be another fun project that we're going to go through. So right now, we're excited about getting our inspection, and we're really hoping that we pass tomorrow. If we do, we're going to be bringing you some video of pump trucks and how we're getting that concrete in the footing. And that brings me to a point. Through this whole series, there's going to be a number of episodes, and what we're going to do at the end of this project, because it is going to be so huge, we are going to be putting this project in the Brunswick County Parade of Homes in the fall of 2027. What I want you to do is click the link in the comments to register into the grand prize drawing to win a weekend at Bald Head Island. We're going to wine you, we're going to dine you, we're going to follow you down the Nancy River here to the dock, and you're going to cut the ribbon and let all of our trades, our subcontractors, our vendors, our family, our friends, and this is going to be a big party in this house, and we want you to come and join us. So please watch our videos, support us, and you may be the person who gets to cut the ribbon to this amazing house. So thanks for joining us for Tank Talk. I hope you learned something from it. If you have any questions or comments, please just let us know. We look forward to seeing you. Thanks again.